Okay, I'll play this hand. I mean, I have to play this hand, right? We could start it now. Welcome to day number 45 of 45 of ZenMadman's Nutty Pot Limit Omaha journey. So, Queen Queen 9 with diamonds and a spade. But I have Ace King 5-4, which doesn't really match this very much. I do have double backdoor flush draws, and now I have bottom pair. I don't think there's really a whole lot of use bluffing here. Now on the river, I mean, I'm blocking King Jack, I guess, and this 10 is going to hit them some and whatever, but I'm just check folding. There's some chance that they had some other ace-high stuff that would have whiffed and my 4 would be good. Not very likely, but, you know, possible. They have called. I will mark them. We will give them the green light to play hands against them. So what does day 45 of 45 mean? It means that for the last 45 days, including today, I've woken up at 9 a.m. or earlier and done my particular morning routine and then gotten on stream and streamed for an hour to an hour and a half. One table session followed by session review. And that's been very good for me. I hope it's been entertaining and somewhat educational for some of you. And then I'm cutting these down a little bit and then sending them off to YouTube. I could do a lot more editing on them, but I think I'm gonna just leave this as kind of a series that is complete. 45 might be an odd number of days. I mean, it is quite literally an odd number, but it's just what feels right for me right now. So I was originally thinking I might do 100 days, but I've decided that this is no longer kind of taking me in the direction that I want it to. That's not to say that I'm not still enjoying doing the stream and that having kind of regular streaming times is not beneficial. I think it is. But at the moment, I feel like I've kind of established what I want to establish with this. It's done what I was looking for it to do for me, and I want to move forward with some new projects. I'm going to continue streaming Pot Limit Omaha. I might stream some other poker, and I'm going to stream some more other stuff as well. And also put a little bit more focus on YouTube videos and the like. So, you know, I do think, I think there's value to doing long-term projects. But I think for me, having more of a series of shorter, tighter projects might be more effective at this point in time. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, we're still sitting here playing PLO100. I played a few, like an orbit basically, more or less, before really getting into the video. And that's, you know, those just kind of set things up. And you know, I like my HUD. I don't know, let me know if it feels weird with the HUD blending into the table or if you like it. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. At the moment, I kind of like it. I like it visually. It makes it feel like the numbers are part of the experience as opposed to kind of jumping out. But, you know, to each their own. So I'm certainly happy to hear feedback, both negative, positive, constructive. You know, oh, well, I like that the background is basically invisible, but can you make, you know, the numbers, you know, not orange, like they blend in with the cards. I might change my coloring too. The reason that I use orange cards on a gray background is, I mean, I find it somewhat visually pleasing, but the main thing is it's hard to miss that somebody has a hand, right? There are some card backs. I could switch to those now, but anyway, there's some card backs that have a tendency to blend into some tables. And when that happens, sometimes we can miss that somebody has cards. And that's a really important thing to know, who still has cards. In a live table, right, some people kind of cover up their cards. They have their hands out here. And, you know, you shouldn't do that on purpose. That's cheating. If you do it accidentally, you can cause a burn in turn, which is where the dealer deals out the, you know, the turn or the river or even the flop, if it's pre-flop, prematurely before the action's completed. And then that's the whole complicated thing. The floor has to come over, wastes a bunch of time, and then everyone's like, oh, I would have made this, I would have made that. People get upset. But also just like your opponents should know that you have cards, right? So here I make sure that the software does show me when somebody has cards. Nobody's covering their cards, but I try to make it so that it's very obvious and hard for me to miss. And I like the kind of bright colored, four-color deck, right, where the cards themselves take on the color of the suit, and diamonds are blue and clubs are green. I've seen there are some what's it called? There are some four-color decks that are designed for red-green colorblind folks, which I think is like 5% of the population or somewhere in the vicinity of that. So if that was readily available, I would be happy to use those, but it doesn't seem like that's just like an option. So there are pictures. The pictures are pretty small. Like you can see the outline of a heart here, and then the below the four it's heart and club, club heart club basically. But if I don't know what it feels like to be colorblind exactly, but I think there are probably filters, right? I imagine on a computer you should be able to have some sort of filter that shows what it would look like if certain colors looked the same to you, right? Like they should be able to make those colors look the same, I would imagine. I wonder if people use that in design. I feel like that should be a thing that people just use, right, when designing things, to make sure, like, okay, how's this going to look to this segment of the population? Seems logical to me. As always, like, I want to try to kind of maximize the accessibility of my stream, and I could actually like talk through things more explicitly in terms of the cards on board, and then you could almost like listen as a podcast. I don't know. The Ethical Panda says, I like the color W. No, sorry. Likes the colors. Great. I'm glad to hear that. The HUD specifically, right? Not just the background and everything. I'm going to, yeah. Let's save that. Okay. Yeah, it's always good to get some feedback. And so I feel like the orange HUD is like a little non-obtrusive. Like it kind of blends with the cards a little bit. That's the idea. It's supposed to kind of complement the cards. The player name being kind of a gray on gray. Also, the player name, like, we don't really care about the player name. It's just to verify that, that HUD panel matches the player. So I like that kind of fading into the background a little bit. This player may get a green upgrade soon if the player on my left ever folds and lets us. I guess we've seen them open limp. This one here. All right, I've got double suited threes with the canine. So we're just going to check though. And top pair and second pair. So top two pair, but it's a monotone board. I'm going to begin by checking. If they bet $1, I think I would call. $2, I think I'll fold. I do have top two pair, but I'm losing to any flush. I have 4 outs. I don't think they're necessarily going to go off for a whole bunch of money. The reason I would have called $1 is then I only have to win like another like $8 or $9 to make it worth it. Whereas if they bet $2, I need to win like 16, 18, 20, something like that. Because of, I basically have a gut shot, right? I have 4 outs to make top two pair. Which, isn't like nothing, right? It's just when they're betting closer to the size of the pot, it is a lot less. It's not as good. Okay, so I have aces, 1 suit, a couple of wheel cards. So I have connectivity, I have diamonds, and I have the nut blocker in hearts. So this is, something I could kind of bluff. Against a player like this, I don't know. But I don't think they're going to have a ton of flushes. So I'm going to go ahead and half pot here. See what they want to do. They want to continue. So I'm not going to just try and run over them with like pot. That's an option. And against some players, I might do that. Against this player, I kind of just said like, hey, do you have anything on the flop? And they're like, yeah, I have something. And what they have, it's very often going to be a flush. It could be a straight. I'm drawing dead against both of those. And any kind of, like, they can't have much of a draw with the pair sort of thing, right? Because there's no flush draws in PLO this way. And so it's like the monotone boards are kind of like way ahead, way behind. I can mark that hand just for post flop. I think my flop decision is the main question. On the turn, I think check folding feels fairly straightforward. BuffyBot7 asks, what kind of schedule will you have for streaming? I'm not sure. I might do more of an afternoon. One thing I'm considering is a afternoon multi-table stream, right, where I have 3 tables fired up, and I don't do like the whole big session review. It's kind of just like hanging out and playing poker. I'm going to be playing poker anyway, so I'll just stream it and chat with people. And if people want to mark hands, I will certainly mark them. And then maybe some mornings I'll do a session review. So basically, like this time slot, I will have not every single day, but I'll do just review of the previous day's hands or of 2 days before its hands, right? So that's one thought there. So just do like a review stream and a session stream and have those be separate as opposed to this format. I like this format, but it just feels like, I've done it a fair amount. I've got some feedback on it. I've got some feelings about kind of what it's doing for me, what's not doing for me. And I'm going to try some other things. And then I'll get some data, some feedback on them. And when I did the 3-table stream in the afternoon, maybe a week and a half ago or so, it felt good. I enjoyed it. I got good sort of reactions from it. And I think doing more of that will probably be more productive in terms of kind of building a Twitch community, in PLO. It'll probably be a lot like, not exactly like Kevin E. Poker's stream, but more like that. But kind of like probably right after his stream. And then this stream that's been beforehand, some days I'll do like session review type thing. And I will let everyone know what I'm doing. And right now, I think my Twitch page shows a schedule, which is a schedule I've been following. But I'm going to take that down and then put up a new schedule when I have one. But I'm going to take tomorrow and tomorrow is Thursday. What day is today? Is today Wednesday? Someone help me out. What day is today? I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, it must be Wednesday because I watched a episode of Loki last night, which was like, I don't know. I won't talk too much about it. But yeah, definitely no spoilers on this channel, except when there's a particular subject that is like, this is what we're talking about. Spoilers! Exclamation point. So, yeah, I'm just going to come up with a schedule that's a little more not flexible, but I want to take a day off, like an actual day off, and just be like, yeah, I'm not going to do this thing for a day. Let's see how it feels. I remember back when I was training for my black belt in Taekwondo, and I fold. Suited to the ace, I would definitely raise this hand. If it's like ace 8-7-6, maybe I get to raise it, or like make the 6 something else. We can tag this hand and look it up pre-flop. But yeah, back when I was first training for my first degree black belt in Taekwondo, I was training every single day, like literally every single day, and for hours a day, taking multiple classes. I would, not even take a day off. Like I would go and do Taekwondo, and I'd go and like go play frisbee, like running around, or like play ultimate or whatever. And I remember I took one day off, and this person open limped, so we will mark that. I took one day off, and then the next day I went in and I was like, wow, like I feel so fast and energetic and just like refreshed. So I'm kind of, I feel like doing something every day, there's definitely value in it. And if it's like a 5-minute, 10-minute kind of thing, I don't think it's really going to grind us down, right? Like if we do 10 minutes of stretching in the morning or some kind of very basic movement type of exercise, I don't think we necessarily need a day totally off where we're just like in bed all day in order to recover. But I do think that doing the sort of thing that I'm doing where I do like a full hour every single day, I think it can help us improve. But then there can be a point where there's like where it becomes more of a grind and the sort of the inspiration's going out of it. And here, let's talk about this hand. I have bottom pair. I do have backdoor nut flush draw, which is kind of intriguing. but I don't think it's quite intriguing enough. I think that was like kind of closest, just because I had the backdoor nut draw. If I had like instead of a 4, well, if I had a 5, I'd have an open-ended straight draw, or even like a 7 if I had a gut shot. If there was a way to turn something really nutty. Here I turn top trips, but that can be drawing dead already or drawing thin against a number of hands. And this hand I'm gonna fold. With the 3 is useless, the 9 connects, but is just an extra diamond. Hard to really get any money from a flush if I make one. But yeah, I think there's this point where we can just get like kind of worn down by whatever it is we're doing, and it can be a thing that's good for us, a thing that's helping us build going forward, but particularly without having first built up the stamina, I think having like a real legit day off. It'll be the first day that I didn't play. Well, it'll be the first day I didn't play poker in 45 days, right? In 6 weeks and change, 6.5 weeks. So I think that'll be good. I think I will just feel more energetic, and on Friday I'll enjoy poker more again. And it's not that I haven't been enjoying it. I've still been enjoying it. I've still been enjoying streaming. But I've been waking up in the morning and feeling kind of like I just want a day of like not doing a thing. So I'm not certain whether I'll stream Friday. I probably will, because like I don't know how much the weekend, like I still don't know which days are the best yet. But I think I'll probably stream Friday afternoon, and then I'll kind of figure out how my schedule sort of feels day to day. And whether I want to move away from the morning sort of thing to more of a just afternoon, and then maybe stay up later and do some stuff. But I will let everyone know how I am changing or not changing my schedule. I'm glad I had my schedule to talk about today, because it feels like there haven't been a whole lot of hands to talk about, right? I'm playing a 10 VPIP over 20 hands, so I've voluntarily put the money in the pot twice out of now 21 hands. So let's go back to the roots and focus for a moment on exactly what's going on outside of me. So the small blind decides to open call. The big blind's just like, okay, let's take a flop, and full pot, and even more than the clicking the pot button, right? They actually sized it to $2. The Ethical Panda says days off are super important. Yeah, I agree. I enjoy going periods of time with no days off. I feel it helps me establish some rhythms. I'm going to fold because the 5 is just a little too dangly of a dangler, but it's close, and I think I would raise this if it folded to me. I'm pretty sure about that. So I will tag this for pre-flop. But then, yeah, there's a point, like, I don't think I need 2 days off a week. I don't think that's the best schedule for me when I'm trying to do something and trying to really get into it, because that's just not, I do best when I get kind of obsessive with things, and really, the day that I started dreaming Pot Limit Omaha, I was like, oh, okay, there it is, like now I know I've done enough to where it's permeated my subconscious, and a lot of learning takes place in the subconscious, right? Like, we learn things consciously, but then for it to when we sleep, things happen in our brains, and connections, we won't go too deeply into the neuroscience of it, not only because I don't really understand all the neuroscience of it all that deeply. Queens with a king suited is, I believe we're going to be able to play this hand from the hijack. We can look it up though, I'll just tag it. If I do get 3-bet and I'm out of position, I think this is probably a fold. If I get 3-bet and I'm in position, it's doing better. I flop top set, which is, the nut house draw, right? 3 opponents, 12 cards. If 2 of them are spades in one person's hand, then I am on a boat draw. Also here, like, I don't have any spade blockers. That's a negative. I'm not blocking any of the board pairing cards, which is nice. This person bets $2, which is like, okay. What are they doing that with? They could be trying to sort of incite some violence from a flush, a bigger flush. They might have a smaller flush and be like, is What do you all think about $2? Very easy call here, right? Boat draw. Now I'm going to check raise. If they have a set of nines, like, good on them. But I think they might bet again with the flush. I would expect that my hand's going to be a bit of a surprise, being this strong. And how much are we going to make it, though? I'm not going to make it that much because I feel like they just have flushes. And if they have a 9, I want them to draw and try and make a boat. If they have a weak flush, maybe they're just folding no matter what. Now there's multiple straight flushes. There's King Jack, Jack 8, and 8 6. So I'm not as super jazzed about this as I was, but I'm still going to bet half pot, try and get called by a flush. Maybe they make a boat. If I get raised, like, I think I'm folding that river if I get raised by this person. I'm going to mark that hand as multiple things. So I marked it for pre-flop, I marked it for post-flop for the session review, and I'm going to mark it as strange hand, which is really just my way of saying I want to see what they had. Ace, Jack 10, 8 with not the nut suit. Pretty good connectivity. Against an earlier position raiser, I'm pretty sure I would fold this. I think in a squeeze spot, not having the nut suit is bad. I am closing the action. I do have two kind of questionable-ish players. I'm going to be able to make a lot of straight type things. I think I can call this, but I'm not very confident in that. I flop a wrap, right? So this is a wrap. But let's talk about what's bad about it. Well, actually, you know what? The king, okay, so the king and the 8 make me the nuts. This doesn't, right? For multiple reasons. I don't even have the nut straight. King Jack is the nut straight, but also there's hearts. I do have the 8 of hearts, which is helpful. And now the board pairs. And I'm going to check one more time. And if everybody checks, I'm probably going to win the hand. But if there's a bet, $2. $2 is, it seems like a pretty fair price. What are they betting for $2? They could have a small flush that they decided to check on the turn. They could have a 5. They could have, like, aces with the ace of hearts or something. Am I going to be good, like, 15% of the time or so? I'm getting 12 to 1. I think that's around how often I'm going to be good, so I'm going to call. I am blocking hearts. I am blocking some boats with a 10, and I am blocking King Jack. I think King Jack they're going to have sometimes. Okay, they have a 7 high flush. I like their bet sizing, and I probably, I could have folded the river, and I certainly would have for, like, a real bet size. But they made that tiny bet, and they earned a call. So, yeah. A questionable call, but really just because it was such a small bet. I think it would be an interesting spot for them to just bet, like, the ace of hearts, right? Just be like, I'm going to bet $2, and you're going to fold a ton. And they would be right. I would be folding a ton there. So, let's see. The Ethical Panda says, for me, a big part of the day off is it gives me a day to reflect or just get some perspective on what I'm doing. It also gives me kind of self-check. If I find a part of myself missing the thing, I'm doing well. If I don't, it might be a sign that what I'm doing could be improved. Yeah, that makes sense, I mean, I've definitely taken vacations where I can't wait to get back to working on whatever I've been working on. Ace Jack 10-4, without the nut suit, but I do think I would be raising this from the cutoff. I don't like that I'm going to get a bunch of multi-way pots. I'm going to raise anyway, and I feel like this is what the chart tells me to do, but the actual lineup makes me feel like maybe this isn't what I want to do. Having gotten heads up, that feels like a win already. Top pair, gut shot. I'm not blocking the flush draw. I am blocking straight draws. I'm blocking top pair, top 2, top, they don't have top set very often here. I will put in a half pot size bet. And I would prefer to have a heart here, but now they're going to call with a bunch of hearts. So if it bricked off, that would be nice, but it didn't brick off. So we're going to just check it back, try and make a straight rather. We didn't improve at all. This was not a nut bad run out, but it was a pretty poor run out. I'm still beating wraps, but I'm blocking wraps. I'm not beating any flushes, and there's all sorts of 2-pair combos. And actually the 10-8 got there on the river. Not that I think they're betting that much. But yeah, I've had times when I just feel like, I miss whatever it is I'm doing. I'm really focused on it and really enthusiastic about it. And that's usually that is a good sign, right? That's a sign that I'm doing something that I want to be doing and that I'm having creative thoughts about it. I fold here. And the day off thing, I mean, if it's like a real day off, then I'm not going to be doing scheduling work and stuff like that. But if it's sort of a quasi day off where it's just a day off from from playing, then maybe I'll do a lot of studying, or maybe I will, give a lot of thought to yeah, what do I want my stream to look like? Do I want it to be kind of what it's been, or do I want it to be a little different? Do I want to do more three tabling? Do I want to lean into what I think is more popular, or do I want to focus more on just what I need, right? Like this daily stream was born out of my own needs for improving as a poker player. I said, I want to play every day. I want to study every day. And every day I want to do a session where I have to verbalize my decisions, and I have to review the hands that come up that are interesting, right? Okay, jacks double suited with a 9 and a 7. I don't think we're going to play 100% of double suited jacks here, but the 9 and the 7 are pretty good connected cards. I think I can call a 3-bet with a hand like this. This would be the main culprit for a 3-bet, yeah. So it's a squeeze spot, so that makes it a little worse, but I do think double suited with, a set of jacks is a possibility, some sort of wrap or a straight on the flop is a possibility. My flush draws add equity. This is not great now. All right, I have to think about, I'm putting in 90 to win probably, it'll be a 300 and something pot. See, that 156, this is annoying because I don't actually have that covered. How much equity do I need? There's going to be 45 dead. 90, 90, 90. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 28%, I think, to call here. I think my jacks are just dominated too often by one of these players. And wow. Everybody had clubs, and everybody made a flush, and it came in a foot. So just basically almost all the clubs came out. That was interesting. I am going to display that, or mark that, and we are going to, let's see, flats AA in hijack versus lowjack, RFI, back raises. Squeezed. Okay. So basically every spot in that hand I think is of interest. The first time raising first in, I think it's definitely a raise, but we'll double check that. Then calling when I get squeezed, right? Getting squeezed is a little different than if it was heads up. I definitely would have seen that flop. Now that might have cost me some money, right? Because what am I doing? Because I would have flopped a flush. I don't know exactly how I would have played it. They would have had queen high flush only. It's interesting. We had the same suits, so they had both of my suits covered. So my hand is not going to line up very well against these two people at all, or against their two hands, right? But yeah, the player on my left had aces with one suit, was it? Let's see. Yeah, aces with a king and an 8 and just clubs, which turned out to be a very important suit. So, but yeah, this stream was okay, I want to do these things every day, and I may as well put it on stream and kind of put it out there, and hopefully some people can enjoy it, and also kind of as a way to hold myself accountable, right? Just yeah, I'm going to do this way, and I think that there will be some value in that for other people, but also for my own accountability. And I think I'm at a point where I'm you know what? I'm pretty much good in terms of all right, ace king. The 3 deuce is very bad. I'm suited with the ace and the king to, I think I do raise this, and only if I'm suited not to the ace do I not raise it, but I'm not certain. Having the king is worse than having a 3 or a 2 be suited, because of course I'm blocking the second nut flush, so I can't flush over flush someone as easily. Jack 8-7, this is not the flop I was looking for, not in my zip code. Let's catch a queen or a, no, okay. So I have bottom pair. Total rainbow on board, so no one's going to make a flush this hand. And bottom pair just isn't enough for me to stick around. There's already a straight on board. But yeah, I want to do a little bit more in terms of like doing one session review a day of this mini session just isn't the level of poker study that I need to be doing now, right? I set that up so that I would do some every day and has been very helpful. But I'm looking for a faster rate of progress. So I'm going to do some more focused things and we will take it from there. So yeah, I'll let people know how we're going to go about that. And for now, we'll just play a few more orbits. What are we, a little over 30 minutes in terms of hands marked? I've got 6 hands marked. Only 2 of them are post-flop spots, so I don't think that's going to be very time intensive. So maybe we'll play like 3 more orbits, 10 or 15 minutes longer. And then we'll do a raid. I also think, this time of year, maybe viewerships in general going to be going down a bit. Like people seem to be going out a lot more. I have some thoughts about that, but I'll save that for another time. But yeah, I mean it's either nice or it's like 100 something degrees, and like not nice. But yeah, it's a time when a lot of people are out doing stuff. So I kind of want to do less of the like, okay, let me make sure that I do this stream every day, and more like I still don't have anything that channel points are coherently doing, right? I still don't have a good logo that I want to use. So I need to get those things set up. And I think when I do, then I'll get a lot more value out of my streams. And maybe then I'll go back to daily streams. But maybe it won't be exactly this format. So yeah, we'll see. We shall see. All right, sizable bet from our pal on our left. Looks like this player won a big pot. I missed that. It's like a rundown. They seem to enjoy these rundowns here. Let's see. Oh, that looks horrible when we do it that way. What did they have? They had a set of 4s, okay, and an ace blocker for whatever good that is. Okay, so we have an open call. I think they can have some ace-ace in their range because of what we've seen before, although cold calling aces is more, correct. We do actually want to be doing that sometimes on purpose. I flopped a gut shot. I turn a pair, so my gut shot actually, like this card kind of hurts me. A 6 or a 7 would have been a lot nicer. The 5, sure, I have a pair, but like a pair of 5s ain't winning anything. Now I have jacks and 5s. I'm going to continue checking. I don't have any diamond blockers. I can't bet this for value. I don't see much point in bluffing. And somebody did have a straight, so if I had a diamond blocker, maybe I can try and bluff and get them to fold like a straight. I thought my 2 pair had a chance of winning, albeit not a high one. Now we're just going to fold ace deuce 7-6. Not really the sort of hand we're looking to put any money in the pot with. The player across from us is playing slightly fewer hands than the player on our left, but they're playing almost all of those hands very passively. So that's kind of the primary person that I would like to be in pots with. Although I'm happy to have both of them at the table. And the player on my right seems kind of tight passive. If this were Hold'em, the deuce 6 of hearts would be a double-gutted straight flush draw, where a 7 or a 3 would make a straight flush. In Omaha, only the 3 is a straight flush card. All right, 10-6-5 tray. This is the garbage, so we put it in the garbage. Yeah, I might actually devise an elaborate schedule for myself that's like how to work through this course and that course and really lay out how I want to improve my game overall. And so that might be good. And I will have days off in that scheduling, I think. I think I might proceed to taking like 1 day off a week. Maybe 2, but probably 1. Probably 1 day. It probably won't always be Thursday, but we'll see. This Thursday it will be. That's tomorrow. Ace, Jack, 7-3 double suited. You know, I'm suited to the ace, I'm suited to the jack. I've got all these barely connecting kind of cards. I think the ace and the jack are like high enough that I get to raise a combo like this. I will check. I've got a gut shot to the nuts. I've got nothing yet, right? Gut shot to the nuts. I'm not blocking anything except for some wraps. Now I have another gut shot. A 5 would also give me a straight. So a king or a 5 would give me a straight, but there's a flush on board already. So there's not going to be any rivers I can really play with confidence. I'm not blocking anything I really want to be blocking. So this is just a fold. Oh, is this one on the left is a little low, right? Let's bring that up. All right, that looks better. And then we'll bring this other one up as well, just to make it feel more symmetrical. Okay. Save layout. Still tweaking the layout. I kind of like it now. I like it. I think maybe this at the top. Should I go blue? Let's try that blue. We're going to change the title color midstream. Let's go with this. Why didn't that do the thing? What? Okay. Doesn't like what I'm... Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. We changed the title color. Thoughts? I like, now it doesn't blend in with the cards. I think that's maybe better. I don't know. Let me know what you think. We're mixing it up. We're talking about streaming today more than we're talking about Pot Limit Omaha. Feels like the last day of the school year or something, where it's like, are we really going to learn anything new? We are. We learn stuff every day. All right, this is the one that I raised and then didn't get anything. We'll mark that for pre-flop as well. I've got 7, maybe 8 hands now, right? Yeah, 8 hands to review. Maybe we'll get up to 10, and then we'll call it a day. We'll do an even 10-handed session review. Unless just nothing interesting happens for the next 10 minutes, and then we'll just call it. Yeah, I've been making these like a little bit shorter for various reasons, and I've been happy with that. But today we'll go more the old school session length, closer to the hour. Yeah, I mean, a lot of what I'm thinking about too is like in terms of making YouTube videos. I'm certainly going to put more effort into that, and so I think I might go in the direction of having my trying to make YouTube videos that are very specifically for YouTube, and then have Twitch streams that are just like more of a chill kind of, not like, okay, we're gonna make a YouTube video while on Twitch. It's I think it was a good way to get started, but I think I can improve on it. So I will, right? Always be improving, always. Yeah, get a little better each day. All right, we have an open call. We have a raise, which it's like a small raise. They made it 2 more. They could have made it 450 more. There are hands that I would call in this spot against this raise that I wouldn't call against the full pot size raise. However, I'd still be wary of the player on my left who, you know, that's, people make fun of like the, you know, the limp re-raise or the back raise or the slow plays and whatever. A little bit of slow play can go a long way, right? Just like, you just have a few hands where you just do it with a really strong hand, and then people always know that you can do it. They don't know how often you're doing it. They just know that you're capable of it. And so in a setting like this, where people don't have long memories, I think it's got less utility. But in a setting, all right, I will fold. I think these small blinds, you know, overlimp spots are not fantastic. But in a setting where people have long memories, it can change the way people play, right? Let's say say it's a hold'em and you want to open limp in a 9-handed game with like pocket 2s in early position, because it's a game where you just know you're going to get value with hands like that, right? I think when that's the case, if you call with aces in that spot also, they can't just raise you off of your pocket pairs, right? They can't put the same pressure on that they would otherwise. I believe I would have open raised this hand, but I'm not gonna play it now. Let's mark this one just to get to 9 pre-flop. Just to verify, like, yeah, I open raise this, right? It folds to me on the button. I open raise it. Double check that. I know if you make the 7 a 10 or even a 9, I'm pretty confident. But otherwise, I'm not certain. I'm just pretty sure. All right. Mark that. Cool. But yeah, just a little. I mean, I used to habitually limp re-raise ace ace king king in no limit hold'em games, and it was ridiculously effective. People would raise me with 6-7 suited, and then I'd 3-bet them. They'd get a bunch of callers, so then I could put in a big 3-bet, and then they would just jam, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I've got this. What's up?" So this is a raise, clearly. I think clearly. I don't know. We can mark this one too, but then we'd be at 10 already. Okay, what do I have? I have ace king high. I have a heart blocker. That's about it. I'm blocking some of the things that might hit the queen. Now I've got a gut shot to go with it. This just isn't very much on the flop, and I just fold it. BuffyBot says, looks good. I assume that's about the color for the title. Thank you. Oh, did I just move something? Did that happen? I might have just moved it. Did not mean to move it. Things are fragile. Layouts are fragile in in OBS. I wonder if there's a way to. There must be like a way to lock things or something. Oh, let me try that. I'm gonna lock this. Ooh, there is. Oh, okay. Now I know. Now I know. All right, I gotta go look at something. No, we gotta play this hand. Okay, I am blocking the straight, single blocking. 2 loose passive players. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm blocking the straight, and I have a flush draw, right? So I think it's worth taking a stab. And now I have a flush. I'm gonna bet like 247, just like because it's a weird number. I think a king can call sometimes. I think weaker flushes can call. I think a jack 10 can call. I don't think they have jack 10 too often. Let's take a look at what they had. Hand history. They had ace. Oh, they had 10-5. So they had hearts, and they had a gut shot. So interesting. Okay. I like the ace jack. The 5 and the 3 aren't doing that much for me. I do think multi-way. Were these both posted? No, this was a post and this was an open call. We'll just call. I think maybe raising this, maybe folding it. Like everything feels on the table here. Let me look at my layout for a second. I guess that looks fine. Maybe I didn't move things. Hard to say. But I guess I can lock everything, and then you can't move it by accident. That is good to know. All right. We learned something. And we flopped top and bottom pair with the nut flush draw. That's pretty good. I could let other people do most of the betting. I'm just going to pot it. I'm just going to say, you know what? If nobody's interested in this hand, give me all the chips. And if somebody is, I've got equity here. I definitely got outs to the nuts. Right, I have 9 club outs. And then I have 4 more outs to a boat. So if somebody really wants to put a lot of chips in here, I don't think my boat outs are quite as clean because 9-9, Jack 9 are going to be reasonable possibilities. I do think this person might draw to some clubs. And in the past, I had been playing very passively in spots like this, which I'm not so crazy about. Here, I'm going to 3/4 pot it. I guess I could just go pot, pot, pot. Or pot, pot, decide. Anyway, they gave me the pot. And that's a fairly uncomfortable situation, I think, in terms of really knowing what to do with my range in those spots, right? Like, I don't really like playing so passively in those spots. Okay, I think this is, like, with 2 limpers, I'm generally going to play my hijack range, which is 2 off the button. So I'm the button, then I add a limper, 1 off the button, add another limper, 2 off the button. And okay. So this is not a hand that I believe I'm going to be playing from that position. Double suited, yes. Yes, double suited for sure. And nobody's very interested in this pot. Chance that queen nine would have been good here. Somebody could check ace queen as well, as you know the flush came in. It's really hard to get value in those spots, even when you think your hand's often good. Instead, jacks and tens brought it down. Brought it down? Took it down? All right. Okay, raise this hand up, and we are going to move on to the session review after this orbit. So I do have a suited ace, and I have a pair of jacks. I think I can call a 3-bet with this. I'm not sure. The deuce is better than like a 6. And I do flop top pair and a gut shot and a backdoor nut flush draw. So unless they have a set of aces, I mean, even if they have a set of aces, what do I have? I have 4 outs immediately. The 3 is annoying, though, because the 3 completes 6-7. But I am going to call. A jack is probably good here as I'm blocking top set. A deuce gives me aces and deuces, which I think there's a reasonable chance is good. I'm not going to lead out, though. 6-3, I don't think either of us should have 6-3 that much. Ace-3 is more likely. If they bet large here, it's going to be hard to continue. And now, unfortunately, my deuce gets counterfeited. So I've basically just got ace-jack, right? I have aces and fives with a jack. That's going to be annoying. But that's actually not annoying because I get to win. Let's see what they had. They probably had like kings or something like that, somewhere in that vicinity. I'm going to fold this, not suited to the ace. No, they had ace-10, 9-8 with diamonds. So, no, with hearts. Sorry. They had hearts. I had diamonds. Both nut, and that's a hand of some interest. I will mark that. We'll go pre-flop and we'll go review. And I want to see, like, are they supposed to 3-bet that hand? That seems like a little bit of a loose 3-bet. So we'll find out afterwards. We're close. We've now got. We should have 10 hands marked. I did just mark that hand, no? Yes, I did. Okay, so this is the last hand, so unless somebody sits in and posts a big blind, that'll be it. I'll get the review queued up. Queued. Sometimes I just get this overwhelming urge to move to, like, another country. And words like queued exacerbate that feeling. They amplify it. They make me feel like I want to live in the UK, where you could just play on all the poker sites, I think. And for a long time, like, you don't even pay income on your gambling winnings because they're like, well, you're already getting taxed because it should be minus EV for most people. All right, we're gonna close this. Ace deuce, jack with jack high suit, right? Or ace high suit. Sorry. It folds to me. I raise. They 3-bet. And I am supposed to cold call this combo. This was correct. If I am not suited to the ace, I'm going to fold, right? So if I was suited to the jack. The flop comes. I have top pair and a gut shot. They bet quarter pot, which I think is reasonable. Sort of setting it up like maybe we want to do a... maybe they want to set it up as like a 3-street hand. If they have a hand like top set, particularly if they have some backdoor flushes, and or like ace 6-7, something like that, where they're going to have this robust equity, that's going to make sense. All right, so I call. The turn gives me top and bottom pair. Not going to be a lot of 6-3 in my opponent's range. Maybe some rundowns that have it. Ace 3 or like ace king queen 3 with suits. That's going to be the thing I'm most concerned about. I check. I could have let out here, but I think a check makes sense. They check it back. And then the river's a 5, which is a very poor card for me because now my ace deuce got counterfeited. So I have aces and 5s with a jack. So I'm losing to ace king again. So I outdrew that on the turn, but I'm still beating ace 10 9 8, which is what they had. Then I looked it up and I said, are they supposed to 3-bet with ace 10 9 8 single suited? The answer is yes, if they're not suited to the ace. If they are suited to the ace, then they have a cold call. I guess because they have better playability there, but it's hard to say. So I think that's interesting that They're supposed to play this hand this way. If it wasn't suited to the ace, it was suited to the ace, so a cold call is better. But what I was saying with my mic not activated was that in this opportunity, in this hand, I have an opportunity to learn something from my opponent, right? They did something that I found surprising, but I thought, maybe that's not bad. And I looked it up, and you know what? It's not that bad. Cold call is better with that exact combo, but now I know that ace 10 9 8 single suited not to the ace actually is a good 3-betting hand. It's a 3-bet fold, right? So if you get 4-bet, you're just going to fold it. But it's trading on those blocker properties rather than the other, like the equity, right? The get there factor. Okay, and playability isn't going to matter quite as much because you're going to have a lower SPR when you 3-bet. All right, so this hand I did fold, but I'm facing a raise and a caller. It's RFI call from button, fold in the cutoff. Good fold versus 2 limpers. There weren't 2 limpers. That's not an accurate assessment of the situation. Let's actually just check, like, do I cold call this hand? I don't think so. Button versus MP. It's actually button squeeze, but we'll just look it up this way. Yeah, this is just a fold. Squeeze isn't going to make it a call. It's not the type of hand that does that. Sound has returned, but it still looks like hands and chips floating in ether. Yeah, that's the look of this replayer theme. Let's see. Let's catch up on the chat. So I said, let's see. Where's the table? Just lost sound. Yeah. So the table, and I actually explained it when the sound wasn't there. Pro tip: when somehow your mic gets deselected from one of your scenes within OBS, then it might have also gotten deselected from the other scenes, and putting it back in a given scene isn't necessarily going to put it back in the other scenes. So that's something to look out for, because I changed the scene, right? And that's why the mic then went away again. At the beginning of the session, I had to set up the mic because it was, for some reason, it didn't want to be there. Yeah, this is like a minimalist sort of theme. I like it. I find the table not really super helpful, but I want to maybe make a table that's like super minimal, but it's a little harder to make these themes than I thought it would be. This is from pokertablethemes.eu. There are a lot of other themes that you can download that are other than the original theme, which we can just, let's see, themes, replayer, it's this and this. We'll do this one. Okay. Here now, oh no, it's gonna stay on this. Never mind, whatever. Okay, who cares? We're just gonna wrap this up, and by wrap this up, I mean do 8 more hands. Okay. Ace Jack 7-3. It folds to me. Do I raise this hand? I mean, I think so. It feels like a clear raise, but the 7-3 aren't that good. But yeah, this is a raise. This is definitely a raise when I'm in the cutoff. So it's a raise call, which I thought it probably was, but then I wasn't sure. 7-3. Good suit, or double suited. Good suit is RFI call from cutoff. But this was an interesting hand, right? Then it goes cold call, call, call. Okay, it wasn't an interesting hand. This wasn't the one. Yeah, those were double suited jacks. It was the same colors, though. All right, so I flop nothing. I have a gut shot to the nuts, only 3 outs to the nuts because there's a flush draw on board. I'm not blocking any of the flush draw stuff. I'm not blocking any of the pairs. It's a fairly poor hand, so we check it through. Flush gets there, so now I pick up another 4 outs to a straight, and I guess all kings are created equal now. Actually, the king of spades is better because it means people are less likely to have a flush. So I've got 8 outs to straights. I'm still not blocking anything that I want to be blocking. I keep checking. There's a bet and I fold. Not much more to talk about this hand. The question was really just pre-flop. Let me see other positions. Ace Jack double suited. Yeah, so I fold this in the low jack, and in MP, I do raise this from hijack. So we'll say RFI from hijack. But RF, out of position, raise call, in position, fold from low jack. Okay, so now we know about that combo. And if I ever go back and look at this note, which maybe I will, we'll have learned something. Okay, this one. 2 folds, ace king, single suited. Any bets? Any bets? What do we think this is going to be? I might do like a trivia show where all you do is you like guess what the matrix says about a particular hand. And I mean that would obviously be with no delay, but it would be like a training, like a group training kind of pre-flop stream where we take a bunch of hands and then I don't know, whoever gets the highest score gets like a prize. I don't know what the prize would be, but you know, whatever. We'll see. Okay, ace king with a 3 and a deuce. Yeah, we just oh, that's not the right position. I'm the button here? Oh, I guess I'm the button. Yeah, I'm not even totally sure why. I mean, this has to be a raise, right? Has to be. Yep. Yeah, it's a raise call even. Okay. I was briefly tripping. Single suited is RFI call. Good suit. RFI fold. Bad suit. Save. Okay. Spokal says, nice, just in time for another study stream. Yep, we're today's the last day that I'm doing that format that I did before, but what I'm going to do going forward is I might have just pure study streams and then pure like grinding streams, right? Playing streams. So I might separate a little bit more. For the most part. Doesn't mean I'll never review a hand on the one or yeah. Anyway, we shall proceed. I flop nothing. I check my nothing. I have a runner straight draw, right? To the nuts, I guess. And I turn bottom pair, and there's a bet, and that's just a fold. And then I river 2 pair. Ooh, nice. And I think my 2 pair is like good, right? Do they have a pair of 8s? That's yeah, okay. So what the heck did this person have? Who knows? Whatever. We won't get too hung up. All right, this hand I believe is fairly interesting. Let's see. Jack 9-7 with a suit. So I raise, there's a call, and then there's a 3-bet. So we're going to look this up. First, let's see. Ace Jack 7-3 and cutoff is probably a raise, even with just a single suited. Yeah, I'm baffled at how wide we go with Ace 10 single suited plus. Like, shocking might even be a raise single suited from MP. Yeah, like having just that ace high suit, I think often like we get to raise a lot of hands with an ace. I think though in loose games some of those hands are gonna play not as well. I think one of the reasons that the solver loves those ace X hands so much, because I've seen the same thing in No Limit where they want to raise like King 8 offsuit, like in the hijack or whatever, or like maybe even some in the low jack, and they want to raise King 10 offsuit more than they want to raise like Jack 10 suited, and you're like, well, but this hand's worse. But it's the blockers, right? It's if our opponents are playing optimally, we're going to be blocking. We're going to get so much more from just folds pre-flop, and we just take down the blinds, and that's like a big part of our EV. And I think the ace in PLO is a big part of that. Oh, never mind. Ace Jack 7-3 single suited is a fold and cut off, but 7-4 is a rave. Okay, yeah. And I think that's sometimes I see, like, I think I've looked up that exact hand, right? Ace Jack 7-3 single suited and been like, oh, the 3 makes this a fold. But then I see it double suited and I'm like, oh, the 3 made it a fold. And I'm like, well, was that single suited or double suited? And I think it's harder to keep those straight, right? Because they're like, the cards are the same, but the suits are different. So that's I feel like it's a little harder in Omaha than in Hold'em where it's like suited, offsuit. All right, let's play this hand. So I get 3-bet, right? And if I go and I just look at first, let's look at low jack, right? This is a full table. Low jack, double suited jacks. What am I doing with these? Double suited jacks with a 9-7. Yes, this is the bottom of raise range, right? But it's a raise. So Jack 9-7 double suited is RFI call from low jack. But now I need to go and say, what if I get squeezed? So there is a thing for that. 100 big blind under the gun. That's RFI versus squeeze. Okay, so that's what happened. Double suited jacks. We're going to click there. And 9-7, this is interesting. It's call. So in squeeze spot, this hand is call IP, fold out of position. So if I raise the low jack, the hijack cold calls, and the button 3-bets, I'm supposed to fold this. But because the 3-bet came out of the blinds, I can call. However, the player behind me is in position, so that's a little tricky. So in terms of knowing exactly how to do this in the chart, I'm not sure. I did go ahead and call. I mean, I'm not using the chart while I'm playing, so now I've got the action isn't closed, right? So what happens when the action isn't closed? Well, they just call and they, oh, okay. So they decide to go ahead and do this. They go ahead and do that. I go ahead and do this, and we shake it all about. I don't know. Here comes the board. So I would have had a flush, but as it turns out, we have flush over flush, and the aces both get there and hold up and then get there again. We're going to launch equity calculator, and it's going to go all the way over there. Not sure why. And I've got the jack of clubs, jack of hearts, 9 of clubs, 7 of hearts, right? Something like that. And before the flop, let's just run it. How much am I going to have in this spot? Well, my jacks are live. That's cool. And my straights are kind of compromised. We've all kind of got each other's outs a little bit in that regard. So that's going to add a little bit. And my hearts are covered and my clubs are covered. So that's bad. So I think I'm going to have in the low 20s, 25-ish, somewhere in there. We shall see. Aces should have close to 50. Yeah, okay. So 20 to 25. I have 23%. That was remarkably accurate. I feel good about that. So, I think my pot odds were something like there was going to be 45 in the middle. I needed to put in 90, and then there were going to be 2 more sets of 90. So I calculated it as 2/7, right? So that 2/7 means about 28.5%, I think. So I only had 23.3. So this was a correct fold given my opponent's hands. Of course, given ranges, who knows? Let's give me different jacks and sevens, or jacks and let's give me different suits. And my equity, let's see, nobody has spades covers, nobody has diamonds covered. It's going to go up closer to 30%, I think. It's going to be 30-ish, maybe even more. Yeah. So, I mean, look at that. The suits make such a difference. My equity goes up to 35%. So that's more than 28. So I guess more than likely I'm not going to have both suits covered. Let's do one more, and let's change this to let's see. I'll have 1 live suit and 1 dead suit. Like that. Okay. And now I think I'll have a little under 30, around, 28.5. So if one of my suits is live, then it's very close to a break-even call pre-flop. It's hard to see the actual pot odds here because, I need to see like how much. I've got 90 left, and they don't both cover. So the person behind me doesn't cover. So that actually means there's even a little bit less money in the pot, but then I can have a side pot that I could have more than 50% equity in. It's tricky. Spokal says, I'm not sure we're going to be able to memorize the exact combos in every spot. Yeah, I think it's like theoretically possible, but there's so many combos and so many spots that it's probably not efficient, right? We're probably not going to do the best by trying to do that all by memorization. I think learning some heuristics and then getting a sense for how to kind of interpolate for like, the ones where it's like you do something with like a 10-7 and a 10-5, but then a 10-6 does something different. I don't worry about that. I think just learning the feel of it, learning kind of building that intuition. I do want to build some more explicit sort of representations of like exactly what I want to do in certain spots. But I think I think just trying to remember like combo by combo is too much and just not efficient. So yeah, that's one of my projects actually that I'm gonna do after this is try to have a more structured pre-flop, more structured approach to pre-flop and towards refining and learning more in pre-flop. Okay, next hand. Ace Jack 10 4. There's one caller. I raise. Was this because pre-flop? I feel like this shouldn't be because pre-flop. This seems pretty clear. What have I got? Oh, I'm not suited to the ace, so I guess we can look it up. But I think Ace Jack single suited 10 4. Yeah, this is a raise. It's a raise fold. So I'll just mark that. Ace Jack 10 4 single suited is RFI fold, bad suit, and RFI call, good suit. That all makes sense. That's probably what I would have done and how I think about it at the table, right? We're going to call so much more often when we get raised, when we have that suit. They check, and I decide to bet half pot. I don't know. I think this is fine. I would like to have a heart blocker. I do have, two cards that can give me top two pair. I think my ace is good some of the time. I'm blocking wraps. I'm blocking top pair, top two, that kind of stuff. And I've got a gut shot to the nuts. 3 outs are going to be the nuts. One's going to put a flush on board. I bet they call. And then the turn's just a heart right away. And without a heart blocker, I'm pretty much done with the hand. I do have a double gut shot. So if they don't make a flush, then I've got some outs. But they bet the river. And I think it's a pretty easy just fold. The wrap got there. The flush got there. And they can have my aces beaten. They can have 7-6 and think they're bluffing. So I think that was a pretty straightforward hand. Let's go to the next one. King, Queen, Queen 3. I raise. I get called in a couple spots. I'm just going to verify. This is like definitely a raise, right? Any Queen, Queen. Yeah. I'm looking up King, King. That is wrong. That's not what we're looking up. We're looking up Queen, Queen. Yeah, so with a king suit, we're always going to raise. Queen, Queen, King, X is RFI hijack with good suit. All right, so that's like a more general note. And I would fold if I got 3-bet by in position, and if I got 3-bet by the out of position player, I would call. Okay, so I flop a boat draw is the way I see it, right? I have top set. I don't see a lot of merit to betting here. I have no spades. There are straight draws that I guess I could get to fold, but I'm not trying to build a really big pot. I'm trying to get there, right? This person bets 2 into 15, which is like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to draw to my boat. My hand might be good. I still don't see any merit to really putting more chips in beyond that, though. So I call, and then the turn's a 9, and I'm like, okay, I could lead out, or I could let this person keep betting. Let's let him keep betting. So they keep betting, and I make a small check raise, mostly because I think their hand is their range is mostly pretty weak. It's going to be like some weaker flushes. Maybe they're going to have a 9 or 9-7. If they do, then that's nice, and we can get another bet in on the river. And maybe they'll even raise back. If they raise back, like, do they have 9-9 that often? I don't know. It's a little sketchy. And then the river, actually, now there's a bunch of hands that beat me, right? 9-9, King Jack of spades, Jack 8 of spades, 8-6 of spades. So I've actually only got the 5th nuts here, which is funny because, like, I flopped top set and I filled up on the turn. But I'm still going to bet. I think I bet half pot. I'm fine with that bet size. I think I could have even gone smaller and just tried to get, a bet from, like, maybe a 9 even, but some sort of spades. I mean, I don't think they're folding ace high spades for this bet. A lot of their other spade draws do make straight flushes because this is like very compact. There's 3 ways to make straight flushes, and if they have connecting spades, like part of a rundown, it's a straight flush, right? So I think my hand's like a lot weaker than it feels like it should be, but I bet half pot they fold, and I'm not going to worry too much about it. But I do think kind of trying to get a crying call from a weaker hand makes sense. And doing something bigger like pot, I think doesn't make a lot of sense. I just think this board's going to be scary to a lot of things they're going to have. And I mean, maybe some boats, right? But a boat, I don't know, maybe raises me. If I do get raised there, I might be folding. There's a raise and I fold, but I wanted to double check. Do I open this hand? I think I do. From the cutoff, right? Double suited. I think I get to raise this. Yes, I definitely do. I get to raise and call. And let's look at cutoff versus MP open. I think this is then going to be a fold because of the 5. It is. And make the 5 a 6 and I get to play it, right? So Jack 10, 9, 5, double suited is RFI in cutoff. Barely a fold versus hijack RFI. It's actually 3-bet. We'll do this. We'll say Jack 10, 9, 6 double suited is 3-bet call cutoff versus hijack RFI. So very close to a 3-betting hand, but that 5 is just too dangly of a dangler. The point is like the 5 might as well be a deuce in a lot of ways, right? Because for the 9 and the 5 to make a straight, 6, 7, 8, then the 9 and the 10 already make a bigger straight. So it doesn't really add a lot of value, except I guess 6, 7, 8 of clubs. Then we get to cooler someone with the ace-high flush or a boat or whatever. We folded that hand. Proceeding to the next one, ace 10, 6, 7. That's just a fold. What am I thinking about here? I don't know really what... I guess what I was thinking about was, do I raise this if it's suited to the ace? And this plays into what Spokal was talking about. And the answer is yes, right? Yes. So ace 10, 7, 6, single suited is RFI in low jack is RFI good suit. So RFI slash, we want to just RFI good suit, fold bad suit. So now we know. My question was mostly if I'm suited to the ace, is that what makes the difference? And the answer is yes. Yes, it does. Let's just double check that in MP. Same thing in MP. I don't even raise that combo in middle position either. So last hand of the day. Last hand of the series. Okay. Never cashing your chips says, hey guys, good afternoon. Good afternoon, never cashing your chips. You're right here for the end of the 45-day run of consecutive days of doing this format. I'm going to do some other formats, more afternoon multi-table streaming, and then make the morning ones just like pure session review, probably. But I won't be doing it every morning. I'm actually going to take a day off tomorrow, which will be nice. But thank you for joining today, and let's check out this last hand. I don't even remember it. It was like only an hour and 15 minutes ago, and like, what did I have? Oh, right. Now I remember it. Okay, so I raised pre-flop. Not much to talk about there. On the flop, at this point, I actually had played a bunch of hands. It's interesting that this is like the first hand I marked, and it was like 16 hands in. I mean, you could see from my VPIP that I hadn't played a bunch of hands. But, you know, I'm not blocking the nuts per se. Queen 10 of hearts is the nuts, but I'm blocking the nut flush. And there's just a lot of hands that my opponent can have that just don't really want to proceed on this board, I think. My opponent had been loose and passive, so I'm not as crazy about this. I go ahead and I bet half pot, and they call, and then the turn's an 8. And I kind of felt like, you know what, if they decided to call a bet on the flop, they're probably going to call a bet on the turn. I could have gone for, like, just mash the pot button, and that's defensible, but I feel like when I try that against players like this, particularly when they haven't already given some signals that they don't have a strong hand, that they're not really interested in what's going on, then they are, like, it doesn't work often enough. So I just go ahead and check. And now they bet half pot. And, like, I just have aces. Very hard to improve, right? An 8 could come and I'd have aces up. But I can't draw out on a straight. I can't draw out on a flush. And I guess I could draw out on a set if I bink an ace. But I think it's pretty clear fold. And, you know, let me know what you think. If you're on YouTube, you can sound off in the comments down below. This will be the end of this series. Thank you so much for watching, whether it's on Twitch or on YouTube. I'm going to be doing a lot more streaming going forward, but tomorrow I am going to take a day off, and I'm going to kind of pivot into making more YouTube style content for YouTube and more Twitch style content for Twitch. So I hope you enjoy, and your comments and suggestions are always welcome and helpful. And I appreciate you being here. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.